It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the AMP Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Friday afternoon. We are getting ready to scoot on the weekend. You ready for the weekend?
You know what you scoot, you know what it makes me think of? Bailey's dog. Tony,
no, don't bring up the B word. Don't bring up the B word. I'm having a B word meltdown today.
Scoot butt. You're having a meltdown today. You need some, I don't know,
Everything's
R&R.
good today. My weekend is going to be superb and out of sight. You know
What's it like to be so cranky all the time?
I'm not cranky. But do you know why my weekend is going to be great?
Why?
Look who's in the house.
I know. We got a good friend, Reba, in the house.
And when Reba is in the house, everything is better.
I know. Pizza time. We got Manhattan Joe's. Everyone's having some lunch and relaxing. It's kind of been a nice, mellow week.
Did I ever tell you the story? I went to see Reba at this restaurant she used to work at.
Yeah.
She gave me a little tour. We sat down. We had some wine. Remember that? Do you know I got drunk that day? I don't even remember anything past the restaurant.
I think I still have a gift card from that place.
Is that place even there?
Is it still open?
Oh, yes. It's doing well. You need to go back.
Oh, I got to use my gift card.
Patio, great happy
It's
hour.
beautiful there.
We should check that out.
It's still there, and you need to go back because they have a great new menu. The summer menu is out. Harvest Seasonal Grill and Wine Bar. They have a beautiful patio, beautiful bar, and an awesome happy hour.
You ever been there?
I've been there with you, yeah.
No, I mean, have you ever been there afterwards?
Of course.
I went afterwards.
Absolutely. And then I found a gift card in my wallet the other day, and I thought, I should probably use this.
Is it
Now
still
is the
valid,
time.
you think?
Oh, of course.
It's been 2 years.
I got to
No
tell you,
problem.
you're not even going to like the amount of gift cards I found in my wallet.
I'm going to tell you something. Those are our gift cards.
I have them for us still, though.
Well, we're going to sit down like the Jets and the Sharks. We're going to have a little
I have one for a restaurant down in Fort Lauderdale also that we were given for Christmas that we should use.
What year?
From an
Is it
old
still there?
old board op. Yes, the restaurant's still there.
From the border. Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
I still have that one too for us.
We've been invited all over the place. When COVID came, we didn't go nowhere.
Yes, exactly. And then we started working more, so we really don't go anywhere. But it's all good. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to our midday show, midday morning show. I don't know what it is, but it is a Friday. It's summertime, and I think once beyond these walls, there's still some sunshine hanging out there. We had some rain, but it's going to be a nice weekend.
It was a nice little shower. I love Florida. It's always humid here. So when it rains, it gets more humid.
I know.
Because they have all these places where the water goes into. You ever seen every pocket, every highway has this little, that's our water filtration system.
Yes.
The evaporation. We must lead the world in clouds. Because it's got to evaporate
Well,
somewhere.
you know what? Maybe it cools it down a little bit.
Are you cool? Because I'm dying. Yeah, that's another thing. Where's the HR? I want to complain. I don't have a fan. I'm going to buy my own fan. I got
a fan right there. I got the AC people coming today, and I'm sure me, like everybody else in the world, is calling the AC company saying, oh, can you check my Freon levels? And they're going to say, they're fine. It's
Josh?
just 110 degrees outside.
I got to get Josh over here.
What do you need?
I got a fan that's cooling off the painting. I got another fan over there that's cooling. Josh, can you point that at me and point that one at Reba?
Oh, I'm fine.
Are you?
She's good. It's nice
Okay.
and cool. So this weekend, we're taking Aaron to go tuxedo shopping for the wedding.
Why?
Because he needs a tuxedo.
Oh, year away.
I know, but you know what happens when the bride gets her gown
Thank
a
you,
year
Josh.
early, and the mother of the bride gets her gown, and everyone's starting to go for fittings, and the father of the bride gets his tuxedo. Suddenly the groom starts thinking, I know it's 9 months away, but maybe I should start looking for a tuxedo. So
I hate to blow your bubble. I would wait until 9 weeks before the wedding.
I know. We told
You
him,
know
though,
why, right?
don't get it fitted. Just get it.
Gotta make sure, because,
Some things happen.
Things happen.
drop some LBs.
Oh, that? I'm thinking more of the LBs. He's thinking of not a wedding happening. You are just in a
Oh,
bad,
no, Freddie.
cranky place. I'm thinking the
would
LBs.
not.
I'm thinking don't get a fit, or you're there maybe up, down,
LBs, 1,000 LB.
pound.
Nah. You gotta do like Puerto Ricans do. We used to have like cuchifrito on wheels. So we used to go get whatever suit they had left.
So that's going to be our weekend. So we're heading down to Miami. We're going to go
Are
look
you
at
serious?
Wynwood. Yes, he says there's some new restaurants he wants to check out in
So
Wynwood.
you're gonna go tuxedo shopping.
Tuxedo shopping. I guess he wants to look at some
I
other
hate
places.
tuxedo shopping.
I have not been tuxedo shopping since he was 13,
When
and
he
we
needed
got
a
him a
tuxedo?
suit for his bar mitzvah. No, it's not a thing that we do. I mean, where do you wear a tuxedo to, right? I think men get how many tuxedos in a lifetime? How many have you had, or do you have?
I had one tuxedo, one in my life, tailor-made. It was $3,000.
You still have it?
Never got it out.
What do you mean?
The guy that got me the tuxedo died. Never paid for it.
How do you have? But you never got the tux either,
Nope,
so you don't have one.
never.
Josh, you have any tuxedos? How many?
I have one suit. And then I have just dress shirts and ties that go with it. That's about it.
It's like a tux is like, I think, a one-time deal until the next stage of life.
Yep.
Is what I think it is,
And
right?
all guys I've ever talked to, they're like, let me see if my tux still fits.
Right.
And it almost always does. By,
What is-
by
right?
some miracle.
Can you imagine saying, let me see if that one gown still fits, which it never does.
Never
And then you
fits.
always have to get, I don't know why their tuxes still fit and our gowns never fit.
Because we're fit individuals.
No, I
We don't
think-
have as many bumps and bruises as you guys got.
you
You
just
got
have
things
different-
hanging and things moving and grooving. Guys don't have that. We barely have a derriere.
It's true. Gravity on women is a whole lot different than gravity on
Yeah,
men.
guys
Everything
can wear
moves and
anything.
shifts and
Sometimes you have to rent a butt because we lose that, and it goes to our bellies. So you let it out here and you tuck it in there.
that
you're
would be
ready
a
to go.
really funny meme. Imagine like this really fit guy having a flat belly and like a firm butt. And then as time goes, I'm going to have Bailey do this.
No,
And then
you're
as
not.
time passes, they get a flat butt
You're
and a
going to
big belly.
offend
It's kind of
everybody.
like, it's
Why
just like
you got to
pushing it.
offend everybody?
Why? Why?
Every man.
Who do I
anyway.
sit next to?
Wow.
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 I see, it's not so nice, right?
You ain't cool at all.
Anyway, we got a good show lined up for you today. We got a good friend, Reba Lerney, joining us, talking
We have to
about.
find out what's going on.
We're
with her.
talking about a wise investment, qualified intermediary in tax-deferred
Qualified what?
exchanges, intermediary. And we'll see what else we got going on. We're kicking off our summer book club with Frank Ruffolo. This book is, you would have to pick the one I cannot pronounce.
I didn't pick it.
Distruzione della Rocchia?
Yes.
You speak Italian.
I don't.
You don't. You used
I
to
don't.
work.
I wish I did, but I've been to Italy.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe you're the one. Frank Ruffolo, this is our Summer Book Club, Brooklyn Cafe Summer Book Club kickoff with author Frank Ruffolo. So that's going to be coming out as well. So you can get this on Amazon or on Frank's website.
Reba, do you read?
I love to read. I prefer to read rather than be on my phone. So I always take magazines on the plane when I travel and books. I read a whole book on the plane when we just went on a trip, and it was a book on financial planning. It was kind of boring, but it was good, and I read the whole thing. I love to read.
Have you ever done a book club networking party?
I've hosted a book club wrap up at my office for my Fem City group.
From City. Well, this is going to be a networking deal. This guy has 10 books.
Okay.
So we want to do a book club and then turn it into a networking after. It's like an after hours with the book club being first and then the after hours after so that people can come together and do some business.
Oh, so once everyone has read the book, they'll get together for a networking event.
Well, we could do it every week because, you know, we got to sip and read at the same
Sip
time.
and read.
Sip and read.
I think people need
see.
motivation,
You can
right, to
actually
read
kind of
through
read
it.
together. You mean read
It-
kind of together and network.
Exactly, because I think that the key to networking is trusting one another, and there's a nice way of doing it without committing to anything major.
I like it.
And you want to learn who the people are and their expertise, and you know the book could be in the way. As you could do dress ups, you could read scenes. I mean, nobody's going to get through the book. I understand that, but the book could be there as a book club.
I like it. I like it because some people don't want to network because they're like, oh, I just don't want to go stand in a room full of people, you know, for 2 hours. But this gives them a reason to go, and I think you'll definitely draw a crowd with that.
I like that. That was the whole concept on this thing.
And then you can also do maybe by this week you read 2 chapters or 3 chapters and you come in and you talk about it. Depends on the book. Ask the questions.
I was even thinking of doing a book dating service. Josh gave me this idea. So Josh has this book. He gives it to somebody he likes, takes her out to eat, and they talk about the book, and it sort of breaks the ice. I think millennials have a hard time right now communicating with one another because they don't know what to say, what to talk about. And this gives you that ambiance.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Always thinking.
But this guy's
You're going
books
to take
are
this
amazing.
home to read?
Yes.
Put it down?
Yeah.
Are we going to?
What's the book about?
This is a sequel to The Trihedral of Chaos. It's talking about the Pope and the Mafia, and are there any connections between
Between
the
those
Pontiff and the Italian government? Whether there's a secret CIA involved? Is
Oh,
there a
absolutely.
mafia
two. Would they send
collusion
somebody
with
to
it?
kill
I
the
believe there
They
is.
send somebody
She's
to
like,
kill
absolutely.
the Pope.
What's that?
They send somebody to kill the Pope. So that's what this whole thing is about.
I'm sure there's been many plots to kill our Pope.
Well, this guy has written books from 2007, 6-5, with things that are happening now. He wrote books out of his head because he says scripture came into him, spirit came into him.
I believe this.
And these things are all, so he wrote a book about the apocalyptic element, which is actually, he set fires and all this stuff.
Yeah, Gabriel's chalice, where the destruction of the world based on the Bible.
And I asked him, how does the book end? And he says,
Ask Josh is actually what he said.
Actually, yeah. I don't know when he wrote the book I read. It's called Xanth City, I believe. And it's about people being infected, turning into these mutants kind of thing. And they have to shut down transportation from Mars to Earth and all that, and quarantine the whole city. So I don't know when he wrote that, but if he wrote that
2011.
if he wrote that before 2020, that's kind of scary.
Yep, he
It is?
100% did. He said, and there's 2 plagues in there. One is where people get very sick.
Yep.
And then there's another one where it affects their breathing and their lung capacity. So 2 different plagues.
Yeah.
And it was well before 2020.
And he's writing about impeachment
Crazy,
in
right?
2006 about a president getting impeached, and here it is 2017. They went after Trump and what have you. But it's just amazing the way he writes. So that's why we are working with him now to get these books out and using. He wants the word out. And you know a lot of people, you know a lot of girlfriends, you know a lot of boyfriends, you know a lot of people that cut together, and you're in business. I just want to sort of marinate all of it.
I think that sounds
Marinate.
wonderful.
Reba knows a lot of people.
Reba knows, everybody knows her, or she
How do
knows a
you
lot
know
of people?
so many people? You do, and everyone loves
I
you.
love meeting people. It's one of my favorite things. I just love to meet people. And I love to hear their stories, whether I can talk to them for 5 minutes or, 5 hours. I love talking to people, hearing about what they've done and where they've been. And, really, that's the best part of life other than nature. I love to be in nature, but short of being outside in nature, I love being with people.
You just went on a great vacation, I saw.
Oh my goodness. We were
Where'd
in
you go?
Maui.
Maui.
It was incredible. It was kind of like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous because we did stay at quite a nice hotel and there were all these famous people there. It was great.
Nicest island
I
is
mean,
Maui.
I'm not all about famous people, but it was fun to be able to say, "Oh, we saw so and so, and we saw so and so."
I was going to ask, do
I
you
heard
recognize
so-and-so's
them?
Here. I don't usually recognize them until someone says, "You know who that is?" Like Hillary Duff was there. Eddie Murphy's daughter, Bria, who has apparently been on some sort of reality show, was there. And her husband is a famous rapper. His name is Michael
Josh, help her out.
Xavier.
Wow.
And then there was another really famous actor there that I had never heard of. And then when I looked him up online, I was like, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm like, how have I never heard? I guess he's been on Saturday Night Live too. I can't even remember his name. But, that added a little element of fun. But it was just so, so incredibly beautiful. We were in Wailea. That's where we stayed. But then we traveled around and we went to Lahaina and we went to Kihi, and then we went up 10,000 feet to Haleakala. It was unreal and super scary because you're on this windy road, and when you're driving and you look over it, like it's the abyss.
Wow.
And there's clouds that are like right in front of you. It's walls of clouds like you're in them.
You
It was
drove or they
insane.
drove you?
We drove. We took our rental car up there.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then we get to the top, and it was like 48 degrees. It was 88 on the bottom. It was 48 degrees. The winds were probably 40, 50 miles an hour. And it was hard to stand. And I'm not even exaggerating, it looked like the moon up there. It just was like, looked like the moon. And there were the only plants that you saw up there were these plants called silver swords. And they sparkled. It was crazy. It was like being on the moon.
Amazing. What a great trip.
It was
Just
a really
for fun
great
or
trip.
was it work?
No, my boyfriend Greg qualified for the incentive trip, so it was an all expenses paid trip by
Wow.
Manhattan
You
Life.
just got a whole lot better.
Yeah, it was really nice. He did a lot of business with them, and they reward people like him with trips.
That's
And
amazing.
The last 2 years, the trip was canceled because of COVID. It was supposed to be to Sweden the last 2 years, Stockholm, Sweden. This year, Sweden canceled again, so they said, no, we have to go on a trip, and so they picked Maui. So we
Nice.
went to Maui.
And you're like, yeah,
it was
I'm in.
beautiful. Next year's Rome. Come on, Greg, you got to work hard. We got to get to Rome.
Wow.
That's
Imagine
like-
how much you have to really produce for
Well,
a
that's
company.
like the President's Club when I was like John Hancock. They had the presidents and then they had the second binary. But the President Club was the UK. I've been to Hawaii.
Yeah,
went to
he
every
was-
island. It's fun.
Yeah, he was. So he was this was actually the Chairman's Club trip,
Yeah.
and then the President's Club trip will be in Cabo. He won the Chairman's Club, not the President's Club, because that's based on some other different factors. But yeah, he worked hard and earned the trip, and
It's a lot of
it
fun.
was wonderful for us, and we had a great time. We had very smooth travel, no problems with our flights. Thank the Lord, considering everything you've been hearing about flights.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just a
Nice.
great trip.
Okay, but let's catch up. What about you? What are you doing now?
So I am so excited to be with a new company called First American Exchange Company. And we specialize in 1031 tax deferred exchanges. We are what's called a qualified intermediary. So we hold the funds and complete the transaction when someone is selling an investment property and then turning around and buying an investment property. They can defer the capital gains, which could be tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and allow them to continue to be an investor and actually have more funds to push forward to their next investment because they don't have to pay the capital gains.
Do you have to be an investor or can people every day do it to buy a home?
Everyday people can do it, but it has to be an investment property to an investment property. So if you own a condo that you use for rental income and you decide to sell it and you know you're going to buy another property, then you can defer your capital gains by setting up a 1031 exchange. And a lot of people think that they can just do this on their own, and they're very disappointed after they close on their property that they're selling to find out they can't do it without a qualified intermediary, and that's who we are. We're the qualified
Now,
intermediary.
the 1031 has been around forever?
It has been around, so approximately 30 to 35 years.
And
It's an,
little people don't know
it's an
about it.
IRS tax code. It used to be more broad too. You used to be able to defer taxes by purchasing art or partnership interests or stocks or bonds. But now it has been modified where it has to be real estate. So it's a real estate to real estate transaction, or still real estate, something called a DST, which is a Delaware Statutory Trust. And that is basically fractional ownership in commercial property where you get rental income and participate on the upside when that property sells. So it's all related to real estate, but you can be an individual, you can be an LLC, you can trade. It's very broad. It's like-kind properties. So you can sell a condo, buy a single-family home. You can sell a single-family home, buy an apartment complex. You can sell an apartment complex, buy an office building. So the deals can be very, very large if they're commercial. Imagine you're selling a shopping center and buying a warehouse. Or they can be small. selling this condo, buying that condo. Bottom line is you're deferring the capital gains tax, which can be huge.
Now,
But
when you
only for business. You can't be like selling your house that you live in,
I
right,
know.
and then move to another house.
Only investment properties.
investment
So you
properties.
can't do this with a primary residence. You can't do it with a vacation home. You can't do it with, if you're a flipper, like if you're buying and selling homes, you can't do it on flips. You can't do it on dual use properties. But there are some
multiple
gray
dwellings,
areas. What's that?
multiple dwellings, 1, 2, 3, 4 family homes,
You can do it.
4
Absolutely.
family homes with a store.
Absolutely.
So when I used to do it in the day with FHA loans, I used to buy a property, hold it for 3 years, buy another one.
Right.
But you have to sell the first one in order to qualify for this program. You can't strip it the money on the first house to buy the second house.
You have to sell the
First house.
The first house. Those funds are held by us, the qualified intermediary. And then you have a very strict timeline, very strict. You have to identify another replacement property in 45 days. Within 45 days. You can identify up to 3. With this market, you want to identify 3 because they go quickly. And then you have to close the entire transaction within 180 days. So there are rules, but again, identify a replacement in 45 days and make sure you close on that replacement within 180 days of closing on the one you sold.
I remember this because I couldn't use the 1031 because I was making so much money on the first purchase. I used to buy smart, but I found another one. So I could either sell it, make a capital gains award, or keep it and find another way of buying the next one. I bought 49,
Wow.
but I didn't sell them until the bubble started to crack. Then I started to sell them. Almost lost my shirt. I got out of the last 2. But this is clever to do it this way because what happens is when you fall in love with a property, you know how you say to me, well, it's a house and I like it. I don't have that feelings anymore. A house is a house to me, I move on. But I had to learn to do that because of what you do. I wouldn't let go of the properties.
Yeah. The other thing with the 1031 exchange is you have to, when you sell your property, you have to buy a property that's equal to or greater in value.
Right.
If you don't, there's leftover money. It's called boot, and you will pay capital gains on that. So you have to be, whatever you're selling for, you need to buy for or more.
Equal or
So,
more.
Equal or more.
Now, at the end of the rainbow, does the capital gain get deferred?
It just keeps getting deferred as long as you
So
keep
what if you own
reinvesting.
$100 million at the end of 20 years?
Well, then at some point, most people are smart enough to set up their
trusts.
set up trusts and do estate planning and, to mitigate some of that. But yes, eventually
You have to
there will
pay.
be taxes to be paid, maybe, depending on how you've got your estate set up.
So do you handle the accounting as well?
We handle the entire transaction, the accounting and the escrow for the sale of the first property, and then the disbursement of the funds on the replacement property.
How did you get into this?
So, how do you think? Networking. That's how I got into it. I went to a real estate roundtable for the Delray Beach Chamber. This woman stood up and talked about her new business, new to the area, blah, blah, blah. I thought she was interesting. She had a really good vibe. And she said she was looking to meet people and get more involved in the community. So I walked right up to her afterwards and said, how are you? And your business sounds interesting. Why don't we go get coffee? And, of course, I thought maybe she would advertise in the magazine. Maybe she would be a best women in business, or maybe she would, want to do a story about her business or something. So we went for coffee and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked. And she wanted to do this event. And I said, hey, I can help you with this. She's like, I need a venue. I said, Harvest Seasonal Grill and Wine Bar. She said, I need to get in front of realtors. I said, I can help you with that. Long story short, after we did the event, she was like, I would like to hire you.
Wow.
Can I hire you for Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast to do what we do? And by this time, I knew a lot about what she was doing just from working with her for a few weeks. And I said, well, tell me more about it. And she told me more about it. And I said, absolutely. This sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a great opportunity for me. It was, a step up for me in a lot of ways. And so I was,
And you run your own shop. Timing, it's the timing of what you do now. Because we're just going through the hottest market in the history of
Yeah.
this country.
yeah.
Was that part of the decision?
Well, I came in right as the lull started, but my counterparts were doing 50 deals a month. I mean, they could not barely keep up
Wow.
with the amount of transactions that there were because things were just selling and selling and selling and selling. And, so yes, it's been extremely, extremely busy. And it has slowed down a little, but we think it's a lull. We don't think it's not. The interest rates just aren't high enough to really put a stop
yeah.
to real estate transactions. I mean, yes, they're higher than any of us have seen in a very long time, but they've been unnaturally low for a long time too. So, summer is always a lull for a lot of things. So talk to me again in September or October, but
It's gonna
I
rock.
believe that,
Yeah.
we're going to see the numbers come right back up. And my company is expanding, which is why there was a role for me. And, getting people like me out there and talking to realtors and talking to CPAs and talking to real estate attorneys and various title companies to let them know we're here, that we can handle their transactions. Because a lot of times people sell their investment property and find out about a 1031 after, and it's too late. And
Well, you got to
so,
make a little 1031 noise.
yeah, so we need to get out there and educate the realtors and the attorneys, the advisors and CPAs, so that if their client says to them, I'm selling an investment property, that they immediately say, have you thought about a 1031? And they can say, what is that? And they can say, call Reba. So
Now, I'm surprised. Don't most investors have accountants that say, listen, we got a 1031 this thing?
you would think,
Tell them. Say
I mean, a lot of CPAs and accountants know
They don't.
know very little. They know they exist, but a lot of different business types of entities, people and financial advisors, CPAs, accountants, they stay in their lane, and they don't oftentimes their client doesn't tell them what they're doing. The client might not be telling their CPA that they're selling an investment property. They're just dealing with their realtor. And the realtor might only know enough that they might know so little that they don't even want to bring it up because they don't want to sort of get in the weeds, if you know what I mean. So if they know that I'm right there, that they could just give them my card or call me, then that's going to make a huge difference, and they're going to be more inclined to bring it up when they're talking to someone who has an investment property that's being sold. So this is what I'm doing. My primary role is getting in front of real estate teams. So getting into their sales meeting and doing a short presentation, or getting into their training meeting and doing a short presentation, so that the realtors feel comfortable enough with it to bring it up in conversation and then push them our way.
It's funny because there's a lot of top-end investors in this country. And everybody says, well, what they pay in taxes? Nothing. Because they know the rules.
loopholes,
They
yeah.
know the loopholes. They know people like Reba.
Yeah.
So if you're an investor, listen up. Your accountant's not going to tell you about this. And I'm telling you from fact, because when I was doing my gig up in New York, nobody told me.
So I think you have to ask, I even know that when we sold our house and you have to go through capital gains, unless we ask the CPA, what are the deductions that we can take? And then you find out it's $500 for if you're two people on the mortgage, $250 if it's one. Unless you ask, no one's saying, make sure you do this.
Yeah.
Because they've got 500 other clients
That's right.
that they have to take care of. And they're assuming that you know or you would ask.
Yeah, you're talking about Section 121, where you can take a deduction of capital gains based on your income. So that's very important, like you said. And yeah, a lot of people, they don't ask. They just,
don't know.
they're just going through their day. They're so busy. And that's why a lot of times it happens. They'll sell their investment property, and maybe their friend will say, "Well, did you do a 1031?" And they're like, "Well, what is a 1031?" And then they call me, "Oh my gosh, I just closed on my property a week ago. Can I do a 1031?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, you can't."
So you have to do it before you close?
You have to do it
You gotta
before
set
you
it up.
close on the relinquished property, the one you're selling.
You got to set it up.
Be set up before. Yesterday, day before yesterday, a woman called me. She said, "Oh my gosh, I'm closing on my property today. Can I do a 1031?" And of course, we don't like to do same day setups, but we did. We set it up
You
for
set
her.
it in?
We set it up
That's
for her.
amazing.
Yeah, and she's going to save $40,000 of deferred taxes. That's huge.
That's
It's
huge.
roughly what, 30% on capital gains now? 28%?
It is anywhere between 15 and 25% based on many factors.
But you have to buy another investment property.
You must buy another investment property, or you must invest in a DST,
Which is?
is a Delaware State Trust. And basically, it's fractional ownership of commercial properties. It might be a book of storage units, or
In
it
Delaware?
might be. No,
Anywhere.
it's just called a Delaware State Trust because I think that's where
That's where it
this-
originated.
Yeah, some people think they can use a REIT. They
Limited
cannot use a
partnerships
REIT.
you're talking about.
But a Delaware State Trust kind of feels like a REIT, sort of, but it's different, and you can do that. That requires you, though, to keep your funds in there 5 to 7 years, but you're receiving rental income, and you participate on upside when they sell. So it can be a good investment. It's something that's put together by a financial advisor. So, and I work with a couple financial advisors already.
So for
that
this
can do
lady,
this.
she saved essentially $45,000. She's got 45 days in to buy another investment.
To identify another property.
Identify,
She has
not buy it.
180
And then she
days
has
to close.
180 days to buy
close.
it.
So it just sits within what, like an escrow account?
It
or
sits in
something
a
with you?
segregated escrow account.
But you can also invest in a limited partnership insurance company. I used to sell limited partnerships. So you're buying into interest in different, you can do more than one, I'm assuming.
I'm not sure if these investment contracts are still allowable. I will have to check,
Let's
Freddie.
find out, because the interesting, if I go to these what is
DST?
it? DST. Am I allowed to take the money out before 7 years if I find another investment property?
I
Or
don't
am
believe
locked
so.
in? So it might not be a limited partnership.
Yeah.
Limited partnerships in the day were tremendous. If you bought a limited partnership from me today, back when I did it in the 90s, you'd be a self-made millionaire today.
Now you can buy, you can reinvest in like a tenant in common. It's called a TIC. So you can be a partial owner of something.
Like an investor?
As long as, depending, the entity is important. Is it set up as an LLC? Is
Well,
it
does
set up
like
as
have to be like, if you have a residential investment property that you're renting out to tenants and you sell it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
can you then go invest in a commercial property?
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be like to like. It just has to
Like
be-
kind is very broad. It basically
Interesting.
has to be real estate.
Just
It can
value.
be raw land. It can be in a condo, single family home, apartment complex, shopping center, office building. Like is
real estate.
means just real estate.
And it's based on the appraisal of the new property equaling better or the same as the old property.
So the major rule is whatever you sell for, you have to push forward all of that or more. So some people think that they only have to push forward the actual capital gain. Well, I sold it for, I bought it for 50 grand. I'm selling it for 150 grand. So my gain is 100 and that's all I have to push forward. No. If you sell for 150, you must push forward the whole 150. Less of your closing costs. We won't get into that, but basically push it all forward.
Pay it forward, baby.
Well, what we should do is we should get Lucky in here and have a seminar for all those realtors. These are all brokers.
Yes.
And bring them in here and do that woman thing you do, because most of the brokers,
Yeah, let's
most
do
of them are
it.
women. I'm just being honest.
And Reba's the best at the FemCity female networking.
And I
Yes,
would
we can just
love-
do a presentation, a little short presentation, and then have some networking.
I would love to take a poll
And we can sponsor that.
of how many know about what you're talking about. Because I will lay $1,000 right now that half of them that I'm thinking do not know about this.
Right. They might have heard it, but they don't know anything about
But this
it.
is a big incentive to do business with these realtors
Oh, yeah.
that know about, listen, this is what we're going to do, and here are your options. It's powerful medicine.
Yeah, let's do a realtor party.
I like it. When I used to be a mini eagle, I was a mini eagle in the mortgage business for FHA loans. Nobody understood back in the day what an FHA loan was. How you got $10,000 on this loan to spend on the property. You had to spend it. That's how I bought most of my business. Then I
Wow.
used to buy down the rate because my credit was superior. So I
Wow.
could buy down the. I was making money up the yin, 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 yang on information that people did not know.
Yeah,
And this is one of them. This is fantastic information.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Real estate party with your girls.
I would love it.
I
think
love
it'd
it.
be
Let's
great.
do it.
Let's do it. How do people, I know you have to another meeting. How do people reach you?
So you can reach me at 407-902-4945. My email is rlarney, R-L-A-R-N-E-Y, at firstam.com. If you Google Reba Larney, 1031, Florida, you'll get me.
It's amazing how many things. We've known you for so long, and you're just good at everything that you do.
Thank you.
Everything she touches
Right? Everything
works,
she
right?
touches works.
Isn't that scary?
Thank you.
And
Well,
then
I
she moves
only
up.
do things that I feel very passionate about, that I'm connected to, that I understand, that I think is of tremendous value to people.
Oh, this
That's
is-
one thing with me. Yes, I've represented several companies, in the last 10 years, but they've all been companies that to this day I stand behind, that I believe in, provide value for the people that I'm sharing them with. And that's the one thing I love. Just why I love you all.
You can
Reba
only
is
do
so
this in
great.
Florida?
No, we are nationwide. We can do
So
transactions
we can
anywhere
do this
in the
New York
country.
and New Jersey?
Absolutely.
So guess what are we doing Wednesday?
New York? You ever
York,
had
yeah.
investment property? You have any now?
Not now. I got out of the game.
Would you
I
get
got
back
out when the
in?
bubble burst. You gotta be-
2006.
You got to be good at what being mediocre. You don't get the return you want. Me, I lived it. I slept it. I was 24/7. I was hands-on, and I found people who had this information. I took my attorney out to dinner at least twice a month. My accountant I took out once a week, because you got to stay in the groove. Things change, right?
That's right.
And if you don't know these loopholes, you're gonna pay when you shouldn't have to pay.
And you can continue to pay it forward, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just a one and done.
And
No,
the trust,
Continue to do that.
and the trust will allow your family now to live in trust. And I'm gonna tell you, that's a secret. I learned this from Harvey Peckman, a Jewish gentleman that taught me the bowling game. If you establish a trust, your family will live in trust. And if they live in trust, you're just taking care of Joey's kids' future.
Well, let me ask you a question. If there is a corporate, everyone's owning shares, and they sell this final property and they don't intend to do a 1031, can the individual within that take their share into it, or does it have to be as a whole?
Sometimes, and yes. So every situation is slightly different, but the answer is probably. But there might have to be some things set up either before or after the transaction to make sure that it happens properly.
It depends on how the purchase was done with the group.
Yeah, it depends on how the entity is set up, and
But it's worth giving them a little seminar.
yeah,
before
and
they
then
make the move.
there's all different kinds of exchanges too. Some things can be a little more complicated, which we won't even go into. But the bottom line is, I always say, if you have a question of whether we can do it, ask me.
Interesting.
In your case, it'll behoove them to talk to her.
You know what I'm talking about.
Of course. That's a home run on both sides of the equation if they found another place.
Well, right now there is not another place, but I've been told it's going to be sold, and then the profits are going to be distributed. But prior to that, I want to make
You gotta
sure
get
that
in
we
there.
might be able to defer all of this, because I don't want to just say the
Oh,
hearsay of they say. I don't
No,
want the
they're
theys.
gonna
I
love
want the
it.
info.
No, check
No,
with
they-
me first.
Yeah,
So
they're
I'm
going to
gonna give
love
lead.
it, because if they go in as a whole, it's a whole lot easier than separating depending on how the contract was
Or
set.
not, or even if we can fractionalize it.
Conversation.
You never
don't
know.
don't
Are
cost
you
a
a
thing.
member of an LLC?
I think it's a corporate medical
Corporation.
building. Yeah.
All right, let's talk.
It's a medical building in another state, and they've already 1031-1, and now they're looking, the second sale's supposed to go through August, September, I think.
Okay.
So I got to see what to do with.
All right, sounds good.
I
Let's
love
chat.
it. I used to, that was my bread and butter. I lived it. I used to go to all sorts
You
of things.
love this.
I do. I mean, this
I
is
don't know how you got into this business when you love this business.
because that's fast quarters and this is slow nickels.
Maybe you could do it on the side.
I'm gonna tell you, I listen to how she speaks, and she has sped up her game. You got to be quick in that business.
You
Reba's
gotta be
good.
quick. You gotta be
Reba's
quick.
great. You're
That's right.
awesome. I know you've
Thank
got
you.
another meeting, but thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
in
for
and hanging out
having
with
me.
us.
As usual, I love seeing you all.
So let's
Seminar
set
next.
something up.
Set it
All right,
up.
let's
I'll
do
call
something
Lucky.
fun.
I actually have to call Alma today, so
All
let's
of them.
do that.
Let's bring them all in. They have a whole group that meets every 3 months or something. It's got to be 40 of them in there.
Oh,
So
wow.
you put 40 in here, you do your thing.
Sounds amazing.
If you get 1% of them to agree to do it, you're way ahead of the whole deal.
Yeah, yeah. I just need to be top of mind when they have one that comes across their desk.
That's right. And this is
That's
big
it.
money. This is big money, baby.
First
I'm telling you.
American Exchange Company. More to come with
Capital
Reba
gains can
Larney.
kill you.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right,
very
let's take
much.
a commercial break. When we come back, more for our weekend fun. Let's get this weekend going. This is the most mellow Friday I think we've ever had in here.
I'm not mellow. I'm hopped up.
You ready to go?
I think I want to get back in the game.
I think you should. I want to wrap this up so you can talk to her. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
But if I get back in the
Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing. Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Hi, I'm Dawn Clifford, owner and founder of Clifford Insurance Advisors. Established in November of 1999, we focus on mainly health, life, disability, Medicare, and long-term care insurance. Specifically for people aging into Medicare or the self-employed or even employee benefits for small business owners. We can be reached by phone number at 561-880-0391 or by email info@cliffordinsuranceadvisors.com. Visit our website at www.cliffordinsuranceadvisors.com and even visit Facebook, Clifford Insurance Advisors.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, We create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Welcome to Movies of Del Rey, a family-run movie theater that has been serving the Del Rey and Boca community for over 30 years. Open Wednesday through Sunday, Movies of Del Rey offers great admission prices, low concession prices, and quality customer service. Movies of Del Rey provides the quality of the big box theaters without the price tag. Movies of Del Rey provides new Hollywood content as well as new indie and independent movies. It truly is a hidden gem. Whether you're hosting a private event, party, or fundraiser, or are looking for your next date night activity, Movies of Del Rey is the perfect choice. Come on down to Movies of Del Rey, located at 7421 West Atlantic Ave in Delray Beach, or visit us online at moviesofdelray.com.
President Joe Biden tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday and is experiencing very mild symptoms, the White House said, as the new variants of the highly contagious virus challenge the nation's efforts to get back to normal.
They put out a letter and they've been saying that his symptoms are fairly mild, a dry cough, fatigue, that sort of thing. And he is taking an antiviral, Paxlovid, which helps to keep some of those symptoms mild and that this COVID strain doesn't become more severe, affecting organs, etc.
Ukrainian First Lady Olena Zelenska on Wednesday told Congress Ukraine needs more weapons to stop this terror against Ukrainians from Russia.
I'm asking for something now I would never want to ask. I'm asking for weapons that would not be used to wage a war on somebody else's land, but to protect one's home and the right to wake up alive in that home. I'm asking for air defense systems.
U.S. law enforcement has recovered roughly $500,000 in ransomware payments made to North Korean hackers by victims including a medical center in Kansas and a healthcare provider in Colorado, the Department of Justice announced. David Alexander reports.
North Korean hackers targeted the Kansas Medical Center in May 2021, encrypting its servers with ransomware and demanding a payment to restore access, according to a Justice Department statement. After about a week, the hospital paid about $100,000 in Bitcoin to regain the use of its computers and equipment, while also alerting authorities.
China reacted angrily to new rumors of a visit by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan, warning the trip would have a severe negative impact on relations and vowing strong and resolute measures in response. Harry Sanders reports.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian made the remarks during a press briefing on Tuesday in response to a report by the Financial Times that Pelosi plans to travel to the self-governing island next month. A visit by Pelosi would have a severe negative impact on the political foundation of China-United States relations, and send a gravely wrong signal to Taiwan independence, separatist forces, Zhao said.
This is the latest news headlines. A judge in New York has ordered Rudy Giuliani to appear next month before a special grand jury in Atlanta that's investigating whether former President Donald Trump and others illegally tried to interfere in the 2020 general election in Georgia. New York Supreme Court Justice Thomas Farber on July 13th ordered directing Giuliani, a Trump lawyer and former New York City mayor, to appear before the special grand jury on August 9th and on any other dates ordered by the court in Atlanta, according to documents filed Wednesday in Fulton County Superior Court. One U.S. Army Reserve soldier has died and 9 others were injured after a lightning bolt strike while on a range at Fort Gordon, Georgia, a base spokesperson said.
Officials have not released the conditions of the injured soldiers, but the lightning hit during a thunderstorm around midday. The military base says the soldiers were struck during a training event.
Tesla chief executive Elon Musk said he expects inflation to start easing by the end of 2022 and most commodity prices to stabilize. Tesla does not have a demand problem, but a production problem, Musk told a conference call. He dismissed the idea that global economic problems were hurting interest in Tesla, despite vehicle prices rising to what he called embarrassing levels. The U.S. price of Tesla's Model Y long-range version is now $65,990, which is up more than 30% since the start of 2021. There is no intelligence that Vladimir Putin is unstable or in bad health, the director of the CIA has said. There has been increasing unconfirmed media speculation that Mr. Putin, who turned 70 this year, may be suffering from ill health, possibly cancer. But William Burns said there was no evidence to suggest this, joking that he appeared too healthy. His comments came as the U.S. announced it would provide Ukraine with more long-ranged weapons. And that's the latest news headlines. I'm Alan Edwards.
Could we
been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
How you like the groovy mellow?
I love JC Dreesen, and you know what? JC's got such an amazing heart that I got news and confirmation that our good friend Bree Gordon, who works with the Parkinson's Choir at Temple Bethel with Judy Simon. Bree's on vacation next week, and they reached out to JC, and JC said yes, she would be more than happy to fill in. So they are inviting people to come because they cannot believe JC said yes. So
Now, I have a question for you.
we can go to.
No, not that
Okay.
question. JC's doing a new show with us. Who did we give to do the elements for that show?
Nobody yet. Me.
Who's me?
I guess that's Haley or Katie.
Who's me?
Haley. Because
Haley is like a sponge. Isn't she doing 2 other things already?
Happy Friday. I don't know, she's doing like 10 other things, I guess, but yes. So JC's going to be working with the Parkinson's Choir. So if you or a loved one has Parkinson's and they like to sing or just like to be with people either in person or virtually, check it out. It is the Parkinson's Choir, and they hold their group every Monday at Temple Bethel right here in Boca. But they also have a virtual component for those that are not in the area or those that are not able to leave their home. So check that out. It is free for everyone involved, and it's just about bringing people together for the betterment and understanding of
It's
Parkinson's.
a great place.
Which is a great. So maybe we should put that piece back on our board also, because it's a great component to put forward. And spiritlife.tv, check that out. Our landing page is up, and you're all going to say, what is it? It is everything and anything that you can imagine as a spiritual life hub. And it's not necessarily religion, it's spirit, it's the universe, it's energy, it's how we all interact and come together. We're going to have Rose's show, we're going to have Sally's show, we're going to put maybe the editor's desk there, and definitely Frank and our book club, because so many things that have been coming forward with spirit. I've got someone else sending us some harp music to help change the megahertz and energy with that as well.
Book club networking parties coming soon.
I love this piece with Reba, I got to tell you. This is
we're going to bring them in and put them as a seminar.
Real estate. So if you're in the real estate space and you're interested in learning more about investment properties to help your clients and how to let them save money on, I guess it's like deferred capital gains.
That's right. And that's a big difference, because a lot of people, they don't defer it and they got to pay it. So if you're making $100,000 and your capital gains is 25%, you're going to walk away with $75,000. You can walk away with the whole 100 and defer it, put it in a trust, let the trust pay for it, and it puts things in perpetual motion.
It's really interesting. And you know, in 180 days, you never know, what the interest rates may be down by then. You'll be ready to buy another property. So that is really, really interesting.
Outstanding stuff today.
Right?
You
So-
put me back in the mood of real estate.
I think you did that, but Reba Larney always puts everyone in a great mood because she's a great connection, a great friend. We've known her for many, many years. A lot of good things that she puts forward also.
Now, do we know when JC's show is going to take off?
I'm probably, no,
It doesn't start till next month, but do we have the date and time yet?
Thursdays at 7:30, yes. Which is why I want everyone to get their rest this week, because
She's
starting,
on Thursday at 7:30.
yeah, she wants to sing, which means we need Josh to run sound here,
So that's at 7:30 on a Thursday.
7:30 on Thursdays.
And Joy Nash is going to be on a Wednesday. I may have to switch Joy to 2, because now that we have the Jeff Santos thing going on, I don't think.
What time do you have Joy at?
At 2 o'clock, so I may have to switch it at 11.
I've got Rose also.
At 11?
No, at 2:30. So yes, so put Joy in the morning.
You have to put her in
We
the morning.
we need our scheduler. So, but you know what that means? That means it's great because people are out there, they're ready to get their message out. And as we say, amplify your impact in business.
And when is,
Sally's going to be on Mondays.
no, you have another Thursday show, New
Thursdays, Editor's Desk. They're going to be on 5:30 on Thursdays.
And you have Gina every other week?
Gina's every week at 6. And then we've got 7 o'clock. We've got Angel every other at 7. And then at 7:30, we're going to have JC Dreesen.
We have like a lot of stuff coming
Which is
at
why I
you.
want you guys to get some rest.
When is the game on? The game show?
We are moving the game show to Thursdays at 11. Yep. Thursdays at 11.
Thursday at 11. And are you going to allow people, if they want to come play, sign them up?
Yeah, of course. They probably got to sign a waiver or something.
They better sign 2 waivers.
Yeah.
Triple waivers.
What's the waiver? Don't
We're
eat the
not
jelly
held
beans?
responsible for anything that happens.
We're not held responsible if you eat a rotten sock jelly bean either.
Maybe we make Nickelodeon.
He's in the dark.
Nickelodeon over there, she's like chilling.
Josh, go sit over there.
Maybe
We
put
got to
her-
figure something out in this corner. It's a little dark over there.
There's no lights on.
I know. So we moved Josh to another corner, although that is quite cozy over there for a
Look
campfire.
at Nickelodeon, she's hanging out.
So a lot of new shows popping up.
A lot of new stuff going on, yes, absolutely. And that show was out of sight until you made me
And-
go work the board.
And Call Me Xena. That's going to be coming out on
Yeah,
Mondays.
when is that?
Mondays.
You know, I used to drink Xena. Don't do that. I used to drink Xena in New York.
So that's going to be on Mondays for an hour. So we're going to get the time frame going on that also. And then maybe we're going to have
Mondays at what time? 6?
I don't know yet.
7? Well, you
it
gotta
depends
tell
if she
me.
wants radio or not.
Well,
If
you
she
got-
wants radio, it's going to be 7 to 8. If not, it's going to be in the
Well,
afternoon.
what about Michael's Political Power Hour?
You know what it is.
7 to 8?
First come, first serve.
Gotcha.
First come, first serve. So it's good, though. It's a good thing. These people are out getting busy, ready to amplify their impact and get things rocking and rolling.
We're going to end a little early today because we're tired.
We want you to enjoy the week, and we got to get our crew up and revving because come August, we're going to be on Superdrive, which is fantastic. So if you want more information on spiritlife.tv, more information on any of these shows, book club, just let us know. You can always message us at the Brooklyn Cafe TV or give us a call at 866-224-5422. And the man, the legend, have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other, stay hydrated, and we'll see you Monday, 9 a.m. drive time.
Don't be late.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.